Hi, good morning. I've got a couple of intros to do today. The first one's going to be at last I've got around to doing some crochet. Now, this was a request from a subscriber and also somebody who sort of follows me on Instagram. So I couldn't resist doing this one. But the request was sort of a little bit difficult in one respect because she wanted a cupcake chocolate orange cover. Now, I've done one of these for the book that's coming out in July. So I had to completely rethink and think, oh, I can't make it look like that one. I need it to be a little bit different. And I'm actually really pleased with the results. And here, ta-da, is our little cupcake. I don't know whether you can see it properly. Obviously, we have our chocolate orange in there. You'll see it obviously a little bit closer when we go top down and also from the photograph on the thumbnail. But yes, I'm really, really pleased how it came out. So I hope she's going to be happy with this. I will make a pattern up for this one as well, so it is going to be uploaded. I've not written it up yet. It's all in rough basically, so I've got to tidy it up before I pop it on the site. But yes, quite pleased with that one. So we're going to go top down and make our little crochet cupcake. And of course, I've got to get used to calling them chocolate cozies because the book is called Amigurumi Chocolate Cozies. So I do have to get used to that. So it's a chocolate orange cover to a lot of people. So I'll always hashtag that as well. But from now on, mine's going to be a chocolate cozy. And in my listings for my YouTube playlist, it is going to be under chocolate cozies. So I hope you can find it that way around. So I'll see you in a second, top down. So here we go with our cupcake. You can get a closer look at it now. I'm quite pleased with it. As I say, it was a bit weird because I'm thinking, oh, I can't do it like my usual cupcakes. So I had to think of a different way of doing it. And I don't know whether I actually prefer it. I do like the fact, you know, it sometimes pushes you out of your boundaries when people ask you for something. So you have to think a little bit harder. And I'm really pleased. I hope you like it. I do anyway. So here is the materials we need. We have double knit yarn. These are just standard double knit yarns. This one does have a glitter in it. That's just because I fancied popping a glitter in it. You don't have to. The actual crochet hook I'm using is a 3.5mm. Don't forget, everything I refer to is UK terms. Got a few bits and pieces here. Tiny weeny bit of stuffing for sort of like the cherry on the top. Obviously, I have my stitch marker, a couple of needles, and these are the really cute beads that I sewed on there, but that is optional again. You could stitch detail on, you could use different types of beads, you can glue pieces on. It's up to you. That is the beauty of it. It's a basic pattern, and it's up to you to actually sort of make it prettier from there. I have my scissors, I have my pencil, because you know what I'm like, I always have my pencil and paper, so I mark down where I'm going. So we might as well get started. So I'll move those to one side, because they're sort of more decoration, aren't they? And we're going to start with this one. As I say, it has got a sparkle in it, this one, but that is entirely up to you. This is all done in one piece, and this little top bits is done separate, but that's easy enough. As soon as you've mastered that bit, that is really super easy. So we need our slip knot onto our hook, and as I say, don't forget UK terms. If that is something you're not sure about, you can pop on Google and get sort of like a conversion chart, or if you've got a crochet book or magazine, it's likely to have it in. But I do like to say that because I know some people have sort of been a bit concerned when I've done a double crochet. And if they're not used to UK terms, they're like, well, no, it's not. It's a single crochet. Well, it is in the US, but over here we do call it a double crochet. So I hope that doesn't confuse matters too much. So here we go. We're going to start with our 2 chain because it starts very amigurumi to start with. In fact, I'm going to take that off because it's always best to keep measuring on your orange as you go. So into this first stitch, in the first chain, should I say, we're going to do 6 double crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Now, because it's amigurumi, we're not going to like sort of slip stitch, join or chains, anything like that. We just continue round. So if you're not sure about that, just keep continuing. It's a slight spiral system, but it'll work out okay. Just trust me on that one if you've not done it before. We're now going to do 2 double crochets into each of those 6. So here we go. So that is 2 in our first one, 2 in our second one, 2 in number 3, number 4, number 5, and our last one, number 6. So we now have 12 stitches. I'm just going to tighten up this a little bit. Boom. so we don't have a hole in the middle. To be honest, you get away with it because that's going on the top, so don't worry too much if you do have a little space there, but generally I would always tighten that up if I'm doing amigurumi. So we need another increase. We're now going to go 2 into each of the 12, so we will have 24 stitches. So we're going to count 12 stitches and 2 in each, so that's 2 in number 1, 2 in number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, halfway there, number 6, number 7, 8, remember it's 2 in each, 9, 10, and last one I was going to say then, it's not the last one, that's 11, and the next one's the last one, 12. Let's take a little bit more of that yarn out. It's because of the way I've rolled it up, it's not going to roll very well. Right, we still need to increase because clearly that is not going to fit across our orange, but there is only one more increase, and that increase will be 2 in the first stitch, 1, 2. Okay, so it's 2 and then 1, 2, and you'll do that 8 times. Now I'm going to pop my stitch marker in. If it's nice and quiet, look, a little donut one, I thought we'd go for a sweet theme. If it's quiet, I would rather sort of sit and count, but obviously when I'm sort of talking and everything, I can lose track. It's very easy, I'm sure you know that. So my stitch marker is in, so we will end up with 32 stitches. So we're going to have 2 in our first one, and then we're going to have a 1 and a 1. That's set number 1. Set number 2, we have a 2, we have a 1, we have a 1. Set number 3, we have a 2 in the first one, a 1 and a 1. 2 in the next one for set number 4, and then we have a 1 and a 1. Set number 5, so it's a 2, a 1 and a 1. Set number 6, we have a 2, a 1 and a 1. We're nearly there. Set number 7, and our very last set, set number 8, we have a 2, a 1 and a 1. Okay, my wool's determined to sort of get in the way. I think it wants to be in the picture, that's what it is. I'm actually going to move my stitch marker up now because that was the last of the increases. So I want it in position now just so I can mark my rounds. So rather than counting the stitches, which is the best option, especially if you've got a nice sort of quiet time, but if you've got distractions, always pop that stitch marker in. I'm getting ready with my pencil because we're going to now have 6 rounds of just 1 double crochet into each one. So it's this section here. Yep, so they are double crochets, as you can see there. Right, so here we go. I'm not gonna count, I'm just literally going stitch marker to stitch marker. So we're just 1 in each of these stitches. It may feel a little bit tight on your orange to start with, but most yarns, unless you're using a cotton yarn, will stretch. So that is something also you need to check what yarn you're using, because if it is a cotton based yarn, they don't usually have much stretch, so you will need to keep an eye on your sizing. Whereas the acrylics and the wool blends, they do have a stretch, so it's not so bad. So this is our first round, and as I say, there is only 6 of these, because then we're going to do that lovely frilly sort of border, which is one of my favourite stitches. They're going to be popcorns. Absolutely love popcorn stitch. So here we go. This stitch marker is a little bit heavy, to be honest. So we're almost round for number 1. If you're counting, don't forget it's 32 stitches that we should have here. Sometimes if you're 1 or 2 stitches out, you do get away with it, but obviously not too much. So off we go again for our round 2. Now, as soon as we do start our double crochets, as in just one in each stitch, it starts to curve the piece around. So like I said, we've gone past our increases now, and these double crochet rounds will start to curve it around our orange. I love these sparkle yarns as well. I mean, this one is, oh, I must have used this white sparkle so many times. There's various brands that do them. I think this might be a baby double knit, to be honest. But there's not a huge difference. To be honest, from yarn to yarn, you can get massive changes anyway. So you do need to, that's what I keep trying it on our orange here. The only downside with a yarn with some sparkle in is sometimes the filament that runs through them can catch. We're through, we are, I think, and one more, and then that's round 2 gone. You can see how it is starting to shape now. So if I popped it on my orange, you can sort of see where the shaping is coming in. Round again, round 3. Obviously, if you feel I'm going a little bit too fast on the videos, don't forget that you can either slow it down, although my speech would be a little bit weird, but you can always just turn the volume off, because if you're just watching, you don't really need to hear me speaking at this point. It's just one stitch in every single stitch. So you could slow it down and just listen to it sort of quietly, pop some music on perhaps, and then do it, or just stop start. That's how I have a tendency. I know a lot of you who sort of are used to doing your crochet, there's a good chance you probably pause me at the moment, got on with your 6 rounds, and then come back to the next bit to see what I'm getting up to. So that's another thing you can do as well. The beauty of YouTube, you can do that. Almost round for our 3rd one. It's going nice and quickly, this. That is round 3. Round 4, off we go. Really do recommend moving the stitch mark up. I should have moved it up, to be honest, that time. As maybe every sort of 3 rounds or is usually about the best option. Because we're working in a spiral system, it will actually sort of alter your start position, which I know sounds a bit weird, but you try that out. If you pop a stitch marker where you started, and just keep going around, but count exactly your stitches, and then place another stitch marker in. I keep saying I'm going to do this for a video. I must do it to show people what I mean. You will see there's a slight slant. It's nothing massive, but it is enough to sort of alter your work if it's something that has to have a specific fit, basically. Oh, nearly missed that one. There we go. Right, I am going to move my stitch marker now because I can see myself. It is starting to sort of get out of position. So we're going to pop it up further, and we have 2 more rounds to go before we start our frilly bit. I hope it does look like icing. The idea is, you know, you sort of get cakes and they pipe the shapes around the edge. That's what I was going for. So hopefully that's what it does show. I'm sure there's a few of you out there are probably guessing that I'm probably going to be doing this for a hat as well. I have my midi Blythe out and some yarn ready, and I'm going to be making her a couple of hats so I can take them to DollyCon, because the Blythes are great for that. You can put really silly hats on them and it's just sort of a bit of fun. So yes, midi Blythe, I think at the moment. Blythe might get one, but at the moment it's going to be for midi. To be honest, a midi almost fits a chocolate orange. Her head's a very similar size. Oh, excuse me. Obviously the depth is different, so you do have to alter the depth, which is what I'm going to be doing. Right, that's round 1 more for number 4. number 4. Good job I'm writing these down, aren't I? That's round number 5. So round number 6, here we go. It's our last just plain 1 double crochet into each stitch, and then we'll have a little look how it's going for the orange. Make sure it is as we want it, and then we can move on to our sort of frilly piped icing around the edge. That's about halfway. Yeah, this stitch marker is a little bit heavy, to be honest, because it's pulling as I'm working round. I do actually have some Cupcake charms. Perhaps I ought to make myself a stitch marker. I've got all the items required for it. It's only a case of hooking them on. It doesn't take too much work on that one. Not if you're just using charms. And I am round, and I'm going to take this stitch marker out because, as I say, it is pulling a little bit, and I don't really need it for the next section anyway. So stitch marker out, as cute as you are. Over you go. So if I pull my orange in now, can you see it's quite a tight fit? Because if I let go, it'd sort of pop up, but it needs to be that because it will stretch. If you're not careful, by the time you took it on and off of the orange, it will start to stretch. So we're going to work on our frill now. So my first stitch I'm going to do, let's move you back over there, is actually going to be a slip stitch, because this is the stitch I'm right. You might see a slight pause there between the 2 videos because I don't know why I was describing it wrongly, so I had to stop and start again. So because I forgot, I'm only going into the front loops here. So that's my last stitch from a double crochet, and then I'm going to do a slip stitch. And now when I mention front loop, in fact, let me get a needle, it's usually easier. White is really difficult to see on camera, but can you see there's like 2 parts of your stitch? So I have my front loop, my back loop. That is what I'm referring to. So we're only going to go in this front piece. That does matter because when we add in the pink, we need the back to pick up. So we're only going to be going in the front sections for the whole of this round. So I'm going to do a slip stitch, but only into that front piece, pull it through. I'm going to do 3 chain, 1, 2 and 3. That is going to count as our first treble. Then into that space where the slip stitch is, I'm going to do 3 more trebles. So yarn round, in we go, and pull it through. Again, our second one and our third one. Now I'm going to take the hook out now, so make that a little bit longer so we don't lose it. And I'm going to pop my hook back into the top of the 3 chain. I'm going to grab this, tighten it up and pull it through. Then I'm going to do another chain. Okay, now we're working in every single stitch here, and every single one, as I say, will be the front loop. So yarn round, we're going to pick up, can you see, just that front loop, and we're going to do 4 trebles. So that's 1, 2, 3 and 4. Take it out, look for the first of the 4 into the top, grab this loop, make sure it's nice and tight, not going to fall off, pull it through and make a chain. So that holds it together, that chain, so it does matter. So that is a 4 treble popcorn, that is a 3 treble popcorn. Obviously the reason it's a 3 is because the chain comes first, but it's equivalent in size. It's just that in a pattern it will be referred to as a beginner popcorn or a 3 treble popcorn, something like that. I will pop it down as a beginner popcorn, but from now on they're all 4 treble popcorns. So yarn round, pick up only the front bit, don't forget that, it's easy to forget because I've done that before. So that's 2, 3 and 4. Take it out, put it in the top of the first one, grab the loop, pull it through and make a chain, and off we go again. Only front loop, 4 trebles, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Take it out, pop it in the first one, grab the loop and pull it through and make a chain. Now I'm just going to carry on doing this and sort of chattering with it. If you're not sure on the stitch, just sort of have a little practice at that first bit. Just remember it's 4 trebles in every single stitch, only front loop. Then we pop the hook, I nearly said the chain then, the hook in the top of that first treble, pull it through and make a chain. Okay, So I might speed up a little bit now. I won't be going too fast, but you might want to just pause it, or you might want to sort of, obviously if you're used to what a popcorn is, you might want to sort of whiz off in front of me for that one, because it is quite a lot of stitches, this one. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. Soon you get used to them, you will speed up, but it's just a lovely stitch. There's so many different things. It's great for scarf. I love doing scarves with popcorn and things like that, so it's just a real sort of fun stitch. Gives a little bit of texture as well. If you've already done my little sheep that I did for the Easter one, you will have already had a good practice of this, so you're pretty good at it by now. We're about a third away round, aren't we? Like I say, it does take a little bit of time, this one. I think this is probably the longest process in the whole cake, because when we get to obviously just the trebles, which is actually a treble rib for the base of the cake, that goes quite quickly. There we go. But if you think we're doing like 4 stitches in every single stitch, so of course it's going to take longer. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, take it out and pull it through. Yeah, this is definitely one where you may want to put some music on while you do it. Pop your headphones on or something, or just have your music playing in your room if you've got a nice quiet place to do so. Alright, don't forget that front loop, because I nearly went in the full stitch then. Can you see how the frills come in? I just think it's so pretty. It sort of really does create sort of the texture, which sometimes I think amigurumi, because we have a tendency to think, oh, well, it's just double crochet, which 90% of the time it is, we do have a tendency to sort of leave out the texture, and I think that's so important. It just makes it that little bit special. Yeah, that's 3 and 4. And keep going. Sometimes when you do pick up that front loop, oh, I nearly dropped my stitch there, it does feel like it's quite loose. Don't worry about that, because when you pick up the back part of it, it sort of tightens it up, so it's not, I know it does feel a little bit weird at first. Are we halfway yet? Oh, nearly. Let's say it does take a while, this one, so it is going to actually make it a slightly longer video than I'd anticipated. I do like to try and keep the videos for no more than an hour. Now, I can't see time on this, but I'm suspecting this is going to be over that hour, purely because of this stitch. That's 1, 2, 3 and 4. Pull it through. We're definitely halfway now. I must admit, when I did this the other day, I was actually thinking, oh, actually that might make quite a nice hat, but I can't make up my mind whether popcorns work for the edge of a hat or not. Looks more like a pie crust, I think. So it's great. Yes, you could make a pie to make a really good pie, wouldn't it? So if you made something different, sort of a flatter thing, if I might have to make a pie, that'd be an interesting idea. I made one years ago, but I've not made one recently. I made a pork pie for somebody. This would make a nice crimped edge, wouldn't it? Yay, we're over halfway. So if you get this bit right, that top bit with the cherry is an absolute doddle, because it's exactly the same again. But off the top of my head, without looking at my pattern, I think it's just 12 of them that you would end up with. So it makes it obviously a lot quicker. That's nearly again. That's 3 and 4, or not 4. Yeah, over halfway. So we've only got that many. Do you know how many good stitches we reckon we got there? And maybe 15, something like that. That's a guess. I'm not counting. I'm determined to drop these stitches, aren't I? Oh, I don't want to go in there, stitch, do you? That's 3 and 4. Pick it up and pull it through. I think sometimes when you rush, you have a tendency to drop stitches. I'm not rushing. This is about the speed I do crochet, but I'm sort of very conscious of the time it's taking to do it. So I hope you don't mind this taking a little bit longer than anticipated. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Let's have a little look. Let's have a little break. My shoulders are aching. There you go. So you can see how it's sort of working on our cupcake. So it's getting there. We're getting there. Not far to go now. I don't know about you. I'm sort of not joking about the shoulders. Certain techniques I do, and I think it's sometimes the way I sit, to be honest. But oh, shoulders burn. Usually thicker yarns. I don't like using junkies and the like because my shoulders end up burning like crazy. It's like a workout for them. Well, it's not my shoulders. It's sort of like back of your neck. Is it that trapezius? It is. Yes, I think it is. That area anyway. Sort of like between your shoulder blades, but a bit higher up. That was a terrible anatomy lesson, wasn't it? Right, how many did I do there? 3. Let's concentrate on the crochet, Sarah, not on what your shoulders feel like. Almost there. 1, 2, 3 and 4. That's 1. Make sure I'm staying on the screen here. 2, 3 and 4. Nearly dropped it. Yes, it's very easy to drop this. Make sure it's properly on the hook before you try pulling it through the top of that first treble, because it does drop off very, very easy. 3. Was that 3? It was only 3 now. Now it's 4. Oh, we're on a proper countdown now. 1, 2, 3 and 4. We've got this last 3 we've got, maybe. I think it's 3, 2, 3 and 4. How many we got left? Right, we've got 3 left. It's difficult to see sometimes, you know, because you did a slip stitch to start with. It can make it difficult to see. So that's 2, 3 and 4. Yeah, we've got 2 more. I can squeeze 2 more in there. 1, 2, 3 and 4. And our very last one, you'll be glad to know. Again, make sure we get that front loop. It's hard to get it when it's around the slip stitch. That's 1, 2, 3 and 4. Last one to pull through. Chain, don't forget that chain. And then I'm actually slip stitching, you know, where you've done your chains, you know, where you pull the popcorn together. That is where I'm going to slip stitch into. And I can actually cut that off now. fasten it off. Now do watch these popcorns. Sometimes, I'm turning deliberately, sometimes they go inside out, so you do need to push them all out. Make sure they're all in a nice position. Look, there's one there that's snuck back to front. There we go. So we have our little hat for our orange at the moment. We can move the white out of the way because we need to move on to this pink. Love this colour pink. I think, I might be wrong, I think this is fondant from Stylecraft. They have some gorgeous pinky colours. So up to you. I would recommend you sew your ends in now, but obviously for sort of purpose of showing you what I'm doing, I'm not going to I can't speak at all. I am not going to sew my ends in just yet. So now we need to make sure we're not picking up here where we finished the popcorn. Turn it, you can see that little edge because we left that back loop. This is where we're picking up. So I'm going to pick up in a more obvious place. I would normally start where I'd finish, but I'm going to go here. Yeah. So I'm picking up that back loop, get my yarn. I'm going to pull it through. For this one, because I want to anchor it, I'm going to do a chain and then I'm going to do a double crochet in there. That's just purely just to anchor it in place. I wouldn't be doing that every stitch. And then I'll just do 2 chain because I've already done that double crochet stitch. So from now on, I'm just going to do 1 treble into every single stitch. So this one goes quite quickly, but you do have to watch for what you're picking up because you only need to be picking up that back loop from the round where we started the popcorn, not where we finished it, because then the popcorn hangs over it, so that's what gives us our effect. Get a bit more of that yarn out. So I hope you can see what I'm doing, or if you can't, you sort of understand that sort of description. So I'm just picking up each back loop from the start of our popcorn round, and it's just 1 treble in every single one. While I'm doing it, I am also crocheting in that start end because it saves one thing to be sewing in later. So I'm actually going to get rid of it now. So I'm going to pause there. You see that little tiny bit there? I've crocheted it in as I've gone, so I'm going to get rid of it. So that's one less to sew in later. And we're going to carry on round with just 1 treble into each of those back loops. Nearly. There we go. Again, like when you do the front loop, it does feel like it's sort of stretching quite a bit. Can you see how it looks like it's making a big hole? It's not, it will settle. It's just because it's just half a stitch really, isn't it? Right, we're almost round with the pink. Always makes me smile, this colour. I love sort of that pastel-y sort. It's weird because it's not a colour I would wear. I do love pink. I generally don't wear it very often, although I do have a dress that's got pink in it. But I don't know, I think it's just such a happy colour. Sort of the ice cream colours, I think those are the ones I like when I'm crocheting. With the cupcake base, actually, with this one, as much as I'm doing it in the pink, it would look great if you did one in like baby blue, in like a pistachio green, sort of a minty green. You could sort of really mix it up and have lots of different colour bases, even if the top of the cupcake stays the same. And it's sort of, I know you could pop them on a cake stand if you wanted them sort of to display like that. Or like I said, they just make great gifts, don't they? As you can see from my cupcake over here, they do stand well as well without the orange. So even if somebody's eaten the orange, so don't worry about not eating that orange to hold it up. It will hold itself up, which is sort of quite good as well. And we're going to now slip stitch into the top of that first chain. So that's my first round done. Now again, that will, after a while that goes over, but for now just keep it out of the way. We're going to be doing a treble rib, I think perhaps the best way of describing it. So we're going to start with 3 chain, 1, 2 and 3. Now you can see each treble as it is, and I'm going to refer to them as posts. Yep, so these are little posts, and you'll have a front post and a back post treble, which means we're going around them. That first one is the equivalent to that chain, so we'll leave that one alone, and it's this next one. So yarn round, I'm going to go in from the front, around that post, grab my yarn, pull it through and complete it as a treble. So that's one direction. So that was going in from the front, the next one's coming in from the back. So yarn round, in from the back, around the front, pull it through and continue as a treble. So the next one has to come in from the front, so yarn round, in the front, round the back and pull it through. Next one's coming in from the back, so you can see we're alternating in the back, round the front and pull it through. I think the back one's the more tricky one because you can let your yarn drop off. So round we go. I think I've got an extra stitch in there. I'm not going to worry about that. So we're going to go, one comes in from the front, one comes in from the back, all the way around. Now the first round is a little harder to see because we're just going into trebles. After that first round, you will be able to see it a lot better. So if you, I know it's hard work this first round if you're not used to it, but keep persevering. It's great to be able to do a rib. So all you need to remember is you come in from the back for one, round the front, pull it round that post and just do a treble. And the second one, in from the front, round the back and pull it in. Like I said, there are videos for this. I don't think I've actually done one for that as a tutorial, but I have used the rib on quite a few occasions of things I've made. So you do need to sort of have a little practice perhaps if you're not used to it. It's a great one to do. Great for if you're doing like cut gloves or cuffs on a cardigan, things like that. It gives you that rib effect. Because I know a lot of people generally think, well, you can't do a rib, it's crochet. You can do a rib on crochet. And this is a version. There is more than one version to do a rib, but this is just one of them. So as long as you're going in from the front on one, going in from the back on the other one, and go around the post, which is that previous round's treble, it will work. But just take your time if you're not sure. Or perhaps you could do what I do and drop my stitches. Right, here we go. Yeah, sometimes when I first started doing this, I frequently were going, hang on, did I go front? Did I go back? I can't remember. So I'd end up dropping or making the same stitches over and over again. So the last one, is it? No, next to last one. See, I've done it there and I'd suddenly think, did I go back or did I go front? Right, so let's have a look. Did I do it right? No, I did do it right. So we're now back round to where we did that 3 chain. So I'm just going to slip stitch into it and I'm going to do another 3 chain. Okay, so now we have one round of front and back post trebles. We actually need 5 of them to actually fit the length of our orange, but please double check, keep trying it on your orange. You might need one less, you might need one more if your work's tight, so you do need to keep checking on that. But as I say, now it's easier because can you see this one sticks up excuse me, and then this one sticks back. This is up, forward, this is back, so it's easy to get in. So you can just, it's there, it's obvious now. Well, not too obvious, but it's easier, should I say. This is the back one, which is always a bit trickier. The front ones are the easy peasy ones because they just go in that way. And the back ones, just have to be careful that your yarn doesn't fall off the hook. I think that is the tester for that one. Because I have no idea how long we've been going. My stomach says I've been going too long, so I've not had any breakfast yet, and it's doing a little rumble. You see how much easier it is now to slip into the stitch. Oh, look at that. I've gone wrong. Can you see? This is what I'm going to show you now how you can go wrong. On the previous round, I've clearly done 2 of the same. So I've gone in the back on 2 of them. So there we go. So I've got 2 there that are exactly the same. I think it's that one where I thought I'd done 2 stitches, isn't it? But it's visible now. So I'm going to be really naughty here. I'm only going to pick up one of them, the furthest. Nobody will know. Okay, and then I'm going to go back to what I was doing. Hope it's not going to make too much of a sort of, I'm not sure about that. I might have to undo that. So that is going, I'm going to pause it and undo it, because can you see what it's going to create? Now this is one you can do. You can do a rib where you miss one and then sort of, or you do 2 front posts, then 2 back posts, 2 front posts. That's a different form of rib as well. And that is what I've slipped into here. So rather than you have to watch me do that, I'm going to pause it and I'm going to undo it. Right, I think I'm almost back to where I was now. You know, I like to show warts and all. I go wrong. We all go wrong. It's, you know, it's not all perfect when you're working like this. So if you go wrong, it's no big deal. The beauty of crochet, you're only taking out a little bit. But what I'd recommend though is next time, which is I should have checked as well, when you do that first round that goes around the first set of trebles, if that makes sense, just double check, have a quick check before you carry on doing your next round to make sure you have done them alternating, because otherwise you've got to unpick your work and that's not great. But we're back to where we should be now. So we're almost at the end of the second round. I think I'm slightly ahead of where I was, but you know what you're doing. Dear me, what am I like? There we go. Like I say, it's all sitting in nicely now, but at least it made me sort of, it was easy for me to spot an error because of that as well. So as we get round, as I said before, we do need a slip stitch. There is another one there. I mustn't miss that one. It's very easy to miss that last one because you think it's where sort of you're joining and it's not. So be careful. Always double check. Just give your work a little stretch to sort of see if there's a stitch you're missing. So slip stitch join, and we start with 3 chain. And around the back of the first one, because it's one that's sticking out. Yours might be the opposite. It depends whether you start with your front or your back one. I do have a tendency to always start with the front loop, so my pattern will stay front post, should I say. It's not a loop, is it? So this is our 3rd round. I think I'm just going to do the 3 for you guys and let you carry on with the rest. And then I'm going to sort of go on to doing that top of frosting, because this is just going to be exactly the same for 2 more rounds after this one. And then if you want, on the pattern, I'm going to put that on the last round, I do a double crochet in each. I'll show you the stitches in a second. Oh, when I get to the end of this, if I don't dangle it up. There we go. Go on in. There you are. But you can see how the rib is forming. So you do get a nice rib. It's a little bit of a chunky rib doing it this way around, but I think it works perfectly for our orange cover. See, it goes much easier after that first one. I'm determined to drop my stitches today. I don't know. Get days like that. Again, I don't know whether you're the same. There's some days that I just can't seem to keep it on the hook. It just, I don't know. I'm just a bit tired perhaps on a certain day or not on another day. And then other days it flows. You can guarantee if you're trying to show somebody something, you'll go wrong anyway. almost round. It's a good job it's not knitting, is it? Because if I'd have dropped so many stitches, oh, that's why I don't get on with knitting basically. With crochet, as I say, you drop a stitch, it's no big deal, you pick it up and carry on. Whereas knitting, obviously, if it runs or something like that, it's mortifying. Been there, done that. Oh, one more stitch there to finish the round, and I'm going to do my slip stitch join. Ta-da! So we're going to have a little look at it on the orange. So you'll see, can you see how it's starting to fill out? So I need 2 more of these rounds, and then on this one, the very last round, I did do a double crochet. I just thought it neatened it up. You don't have to though, it is not the end of the world if you didn't do it, but when I write the pattern up, I will write that this last round is a double crochet. So I had 5 round the post trebles to create the rib, and then 1 of just a double crochet. So I'm just going to pause there. I can leave that on like that because I just wanted to have a look at this top bit for you. Well, after doing that, it's going to feel really easy. So like we start every amigurumi, that is how it is going to start. So I'm going to do 2 chain and then 6 double crochets into this first chain. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. We're now going to do 2 double crochets in each, exactly the same as when we started the top of this one. So it's 1 and 1 in the first one, 2 in the second one, 2 in number 3, 2 in number 4, in number 5, and in number 6. So we have 12 stitches. Okay, tighten that bit up. So now we're going to have 12 of these little popcorns. So I slip stitch into the first one. Now remember, the first popcorn starts with 3 chain and then 3 trebles. So we have 1, 2 and 3. You know what to do. In the top of the 3 chain, grab the yarn, pull it through and make a chain. There's always that chain on the end of it. So into the next stitch. Now we don't need to worry about doing front or back loop here, just go straight into the stitch because it's not going over something, it doesn't matter. So we need 4 trebles, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Take it out, pop it in and pull it through. So we're going to carry on round with these, just 4 treble popcorns, as they will be called, into every single one of the 12 stitches, which is going to create this little bit of sort of icing or piping or whatever you want to call it that goes around that top bit. So we got 1, oh not, it nearly got 2, 3 and 4, pick it up, top of that first treble of that set and pull it through and make a chain. And so you'll feel this is easy after doing that all the way around the top of the other one. That's 3, 4, pick it up, pull it through, make a chain. So we've got 1, 2, 2, that's 3 and 4. Oh, I must have done that one tight, it didn't want to pick up. Pick it up, pull it through and make a chain. Off we go. Now after this, all there is the little cherry on the top. Now I've done it like a purple cherry, so it's like a black cherry. Now you don't have to do a cherry on the top. If you've got a big bead, that would fit on. If you were doing it perhaps for somebody's birthday, a little happy birthday button or something like that, that would look quite nice. It doesn't have to be sort of how I finished it off. In fact, that'd be quite sweet actually, a happy birthday button. Can you get happy birthday buttons I will need to Google that. I think probably you would. There's got to be something, hasn't there? I know you can get badges. I mean, to be honest, you could get a badge, you know, from the supermarket or whatever. It always says, I don't know, say if it's the 20th birthday or whatever, 21st. You could get the badge, and because it is yarn, you could just push it in and sort of fasten it. That would look quite nice, actually. I might have to remember that one. 1, 2, 3 and 4. And we've got just 2 more to go. I think it's 2 more. 1, 2, 3 and 4. And give it a little stretch if you're not sure. I think that's actually 2. See, it would have easily missed. I suppose one of the other ways I could check is I count how many of the popcorns I've already got. So let me finish this one. I will count, because in theory we had 12 stitches, did we? We need 12 popcorns. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So there was one missing. So that's another way of just checking, because you should have as many popcorns as you've got stitches on that previous round. 2, 3 and 4. Pick it up, pull it through, make a chain and slip stitch into the back of the very first one and fasten off. That was it. Now I'm going to leave enough yarn here, so make it nice and long, for sewing on the top. Always best to make sure if you're going to be sewing something on, it's easier to use the yarn that's on the piece rather than having to add. You can add, but it is a bit more difficult. So the one there then needs pushing through and pushing through. So that is basically that. So from there, the piece of yarn, as I say, that I've left really long, I'm just going to pick up each stitch and go all the way around. So but I'm picking up where the popcorn joins and then into the work. And that is with my needle, not with a hook. I was holding a hook there, wasn't I? I just wanted to sort of make sure we got all the bits there. Right, now the last bit, I've just got this little bit of, it's like a dark purple. And this is the cherry. It's only really a half cherry, so it doesn't take any doing at all. So, 2 chain, 6 in 1, you know how it goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. 2 in each. 2 double crochets in each of the 6 to give us a 12. Or not, that is catching. That is, there we go. Three, 4, 4. There's 2 in each, remember. 5, 5. That's why I'm repeating the number. It's usually how I count when I'm working on my own. 6, 6. I've missed one. What have I got there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I need 12, don't I? 10, 11 and 12. Right. You can normally tell, because if it's not very circular, you know you've not done enough stitches. So I've got 12 stitches on there now, and I'm just going to do 1 double crochet into each of those for 2 rounds. That is it. So we're just going to count to 12 times, sort of twice, 2 times, two times. I'm making up words here. It's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's round 1. You see it's already curling round, so just push it out a little bit. The last round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. And because I'm not going any further, I'm just going to do a slip stitch. So you can see you only needed a little bit of yarn for that. Again, you could do many colours. You could make a strawberry. I don't know. There's so many different variations you could do on that. So I'm just going to push that through and then push it back. So it's like just a half a cherry. I know in the past, and I think the one in the book, I've done like a full cherry then stitched it on, but I soon realised when I did this one, you don't really need to, because then this is stitched onto here, and then this is just stitched into the center. With, you might find you need a tiny little bit of stuffing. I didn't stuff this one, and I think it's a bit too soft. I wish I had now, so that is why. So that would be stitching onto there. So we do have quite a few ends to sew in there. We do obviously then need detailing. These are the tiny little beads I've used. You don't have to use anything like this. These have got a really nice sparkle to them. That is why I thought I'd do it, but you could embroider it on, you could do something completely different. I just thought they were very cute. That is why they are on my little chocolate cozy. I was going to call it a chocolate orange cover, then I do need to get out of that habit. So on my little chocolate cozy. So we have a little bit of sewing in. We have 2 more rounds here to do and a double crochet round. This, we just get rid of this end. That's just one that wants stitching in, and this is the one we're going to use to stitch into place. So I'm going to leave it at there because I'm sure you'll be okay with the stitching up. If you're not sure about any sort of sewing things together, some of my other videos do go into full details of sewing things on, so you can have a little nosy at that. But that is my cupcake. In fact, let's put this one back on here. This is the one that I've photographed and everything. So there we go, our little cupcake treat, which makes a perfect little gift. I'm really pleased with it. Again, I got a couple of crochet things done this week. Oh, I am catching up at last. So much to do. So this is the one I'm doing now. I'll give you a sneak peek of what my next one's going to be. Ta-da! I have done a little toadstool, little mushroom, whatever you want to call it. It's a pincushion. I wanted to make myself a pincushion, and I wanted to work on a little bit of a theme of sort of mushrooms. So there we go. We're going to be doing that next. That's the next video, and that'll hopefully be in the next couple of days. Already done the intro, so it shouldn't be long. So I hope you're going to join me for that one as well. So I'm going to leave it at that today. I hope you enjoyed it. Any questions, comments, anything like that, pop it below. I do try and make sure I answer everybody's questions. So yeah, just pop a message in there if you're not sure about something or you want a bit of advice. That's fine. Or if you just want to say hi, you can come and say hi. That's lovely as well. So I'm going for now. If you enjoy my videos, please like, subscribe and share, and I will see you all very soon with our next crochet project or a dolly project. You know what I'm like. It's either crochet dolls or dolls and crochet for dolls. It's a little bit of a mixture there. So I'll see you all very soon, and bye bye for now.